farm of giants. When Elias signed the papers for the old farm on the edge of the valley, he thought he was buying nothing more than 100 acres of stubborn earth and a sagging house that smelled of dust and rain-soaked wood. He had dreams of starting over, of tilling the land with his own hands, of growing something honest and lasting after years of wandering without roots. But on the first morning after moving in, as the mist rolled over the fields like a ghostly tide, he discovered that the farm was not his alone. A tremor shook the soil, steady as a heartbeat, and then another. He thought at first it was distant thunder, until the fog parted and 3 towering shapes emerged at the far edge of the field. Women, if such titans could be called that, each easily 3 times the height of the farmhouse, their hair like flowing rivers of copper, night and gold, their eyes burning with a strange ancient fire. They did not stumble upon the land as strangers. They moved as though they had always belonged, their colossal feet pressing into the soil with the weight of forgotten ages. Elias dropped his tools, frozen, his mind caught between terror and awe. The tallest of the 3, with hair the color of autumn leaves aflame, bent low until her face hovered above him, her breath warm like a sudden windstorm. "You're going to have a life with us," she said in a voice that shook the windows. And though the words thundered, there was something almost tender in them, a promise threaded with command. Elias tried to speak, but his voice caught in his throat. The second woman, whose hair fell black as midnight over her shoulders, leaned in and added, "Do not think you chose this farm. It chose you." The third, golden-haired and radiant as sunlight after storm, closed her eyes as though listening to the earth itself, and then whispered words that made his heart tremble. "You are bound to us now. Bound by soil, by sky, by destiny." Elias's fear battled with wonder. He thought of leaving, of running back down the dirt road to the town where everything was normal, small, predictable. But the way they looked at him, like he was a key they had been waiting centuries to find, stole away his thoughts of escape. The tallest one smiled, revealing teeth like white stone, and said, "This land is not just a farm. It is a threshold, and you, Elias, are its keeper." He swallowed hard, gripping the handle of his shovel, though it felt laughably useless against beings who could step over barns. "Why me?" he asked, the words shaking out of him. The women glanced at one another, and for a heartbeat their colossal forms shimmered as if woven from starlight. Then the raven-haired one whispered, "Because you carry the mark." His hand twitched to his chest without thinking, and to his horror, or was it awe, he saw faint light pulsing beneath his shirt, as if something long asleep within him had just awakened. The giants' voices joined, resonant and unstoppable, the oath of soil and sky. That night, Elias could not sleep. The farmhouse walls creaked with every sigh of the wind, but beneath those familiar sounds pulsed something else, something alive, like a heartbeat in the soil. He sat at the window, staring into the moonlit fields, half expecting to wake and find it all a dream. But there they were, the 3 colossal women, sitting at the far end of the farm, their enormous forms silhouetted against the glowing sky. They did not sleep. They did not move except to raise their heads occasionally, as though listening for something that Elias could not hear. When dawn broke, he forced himself outside, shovel in hand, more out of habit than courage. The golden-haired giantess rose first, sunlight breaking around her like a halo, and when her eyes met his, Elias felt as though the day itself had bowed to her will. "Do you feel it yet?" she asked, her voice echoing low, like thunder traveling through stone. Elias shook his head, his throat dry. "Feel what?" The raven-haired woman leaned forward, her hair falling like curtains of night, and pressed one massive palm into the earth. The ground trembled under his boots. "The land," she whispered. "It stirs for you." Elias dropped to one knee, pressing his hand into the dirt, and for the first time he noticed it, the faint hum beneath his palm, a rhythm that matched his own heartbeat. Fear coiled in his chest. "What am I supposed to do with this?" he asked. The copper-haired giantess, fierce and wild, laughed, and the sound rolled across the valley like a storm breaking. "Not what you are supposed to do," she said, her eyes gleaming. what you are destined to do. This farm is a seal, a prison, and a sanctuary. The three of us guard it, but the land will not stay quiet forever. You are the one who must bind it." Elias stumbled back, shaking his head. "I didn't sign up for this. I just wanted to start over, live a simple life." The giant's expression softened, but their eyes never wavered. The raven-haired one tilted her head. "Do you think destiny cares what you wanted?" Elias opened his mouth to argue, but the ground split suddenly between them with a violent crack, as though something beneath had clawed upward. From the fissure spilled a dark mist, cold and writhing like smoke alive with hunger. Elias staggered back, heart pounding. As the golden-haired giantess stood, her face fierce now with urgency. "It begins sooner than we thought." She looked down at Elias, her gaze heavy with command. "You must choose now. Will you stand with us, or let this land swallow you whole?" Elias wanted to run, to deny all of it, but his chest burned with the same strange light as the day before, the mark within him thrumming like a drum of war. The copper-haired woman thrust her massive hand toward him, palm open, an invitation and a demand. "Swear the oath," she said, voice shaking the trees.